Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and please do not forget to like and subscribe, thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't love you the way you deserved. Lee Min-ho's tearful public apology to song Hye-kyo leaves South Korea in silence. April 11th, 2025, Seoul, South Korea. By Yoon Ji-yoon, Seoul Daily Star. In a moment that stopped hearts across South Korea and echoed across continents, Lee Min-ho, one of the most beloved and admired figures in Korean entertainment, stood under the harsh lights of a press room, not to promote a drama, not to celebrate a project, but to offer an apology that came not from a script, but from the raw, bleeding center of his soul. With trembling hands and tear-filled eyes, the actor looked into a sea of flashing cameras and whispered the words no one expected. "I failed the woman who loved me more purely than anyone ever has. I broke her heart not once, but twice. And I'm sorry I couldn't love her the way she deserved." The woman he was speaking about, none other than the nation's pride and elegance personified, Song Hye-kyo. And just like that, a love story that had long lived in silence was finally given a voice, through confession, regret, and the kind of honesty that cuts through even the most carefully built walls. Not a statement, a confession, a farewell. It wasn't planned, not by his agency, not by any team. It was not the kind of carefully curated PR moment fans are used to. This was something else entirely. Wearing a simple black suit, hair undone, and a voice barely holding together, Lee Min-ho walked onto the stage alone. There were no prepared scripts. Just a folded piece of paper in his hand that he never even looked at. "This isn't easy for me," he began. "But it's something I should have done a long time ago. And today, I want to say the words that were trapped in my chest, words meant for her." The room hushed. Phones lowered. Everyone leaned in. "She gave me everything, and I gave her distance." For over 30 minutes, Lee Min-ho spoke. And not as a star. Not as the polished face of dramas and endorsements. But as a man carrying the weight of his own silence. "She was there for me in ways I never fully understood until she was gone. She stood by me when I was distracted, when I was selfish, when I was too focused on the world that applauded me to notice the woman quietly hurting beside me." He recounted dinners where she smiled but her eyes didn't. Nights where her texts went unanswered. The moment she reached for him, and he wasn't there. She didn't yell. She didn't demand. She just kept loving me. Until one day she stopped. That's how she leaves. Quietly, gracefully, and with all the dignity I didn't deserve. A love the world couldn't save. Their rumored relationship had once electrified the internet. Two of Korea's most iconic figures, Lee Min-ho, the charismatic heartthrob, and Song Hye-kyo, the timeless queen of K-drama, were seen together at private dinners, film festivals, and even vacationing under the radar in Europe. Fans called them a fairy tale, the perfect couple. But fairy tales, as we now know, can end not with villains, but with silence. "I wasn't the villain, but I was the reason," Lee confessed. "I was cold when she needed warmth. I gave her absence when she gave me loyalty. I made her feel alone in a room full of people because I wasn't paying attention." He admitted to emotional distance. To putting career before connection. To hiding behind schedules and flights instead of confronting what he was afraid to face, real intimacy with someone who saw straight through him. "She deserves more than I ever gave her." Then came the words that broke everyone in the room. "If you're out there, Hye-kyo, please know, you were never hard to love. I was just not strong enough to love you the way you deserved. You don't need closure from me. You already gave that to yourself when you walked away. But if I could go back, I would have chosen you every time. Not the cameras. Not the lights. Just you." He paused to wipe his face. No one moved. Even reporters sat still, some visibly emotional. "You deserve someone who holds your hand and doesn't let go. Someone who knows when you're sad, without asking. Someone who sees not just your beauty, but your storms. And stays through the rain. I couldn't be that man. But I hope someday, someone better will." The internet reacts. A love letter, written too late. The entire country and much of the world watched the live broadcast. Within minutes, The hashtag Lee Min-ho apologizes trended globally, alongside hashtag you deserve better Hye-kyo and hashtag heartbreak in real time. Comments flooded online platforms. This wasn't a PR stunt. This was a man grieving a love he took for granted. She gave him her heart, and he handed it back too late. If love had a rewind button, even global stars shared support, praising his courage for owning his mistakes. Song Hye-kyo's quiet response. Though she has remained private about their relationship, sources close to Song Hye-kyo, who is currently in Italy shooting an upcoming drama, said she watched the video alone. She didn't speak right away, a friend shared. She just watched, eyes full. Then she said, "I always wished he would say those words. I just never thought I'd hear them after I stopped needing them." Later that evening, she was seen walking along the Arno River in Florence alone, without her phone, just a long coat, wind in her hair, and peace in her steps. A final goodbye, with love still in the room. Lee Min-ho ended the apology with a bow so deep, it felt like a surrender. To the world, she is Song Hye-kyo, the icon. But to me, she was the quiet miracle I didn't know how to hold. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for her to be free. Free from any shadow I left behind. Free to love again, fully, loudly, and without doubt. And if this is the last thing I ever say about her, let it be this. I'm sorry I couldn't love you the way you deserved. But I will carry your name in every version of love I try to give from now on. And just like that, a love story we never truly knew finally came to an end. Not with a reunion. Not with bitterness. But with the kind of honesty that only comes after loss. A heartbreak too quiet to notice at first, and too loud to ever forget.